They pretended not to know me at their luxury gala, called me fat and disgusting, threw me out like trash. A blonde socialite dumped ice water on my head, yelling, "Maybe this will wash away those pounds." Then my brother's convoy arrived, 20 black SUVs, armed guards everywhere. I'm Gianna Castellano, and they should have recognized me. Before I tell you what happened that night, I need you to understand something. Hit that subscribe button right now because what I'm about to share will blow your mind. Turn on notifications. You don't want to miss stories like this. And please, comment below if you've ever been judged for your appearance by the people who were supposed to love you, because that's exactly what happened to me. Now let me take you back to where it all began. My name is Gianna, and 18 months ago, I married the love of my life, Adrian. I'm a curvy woman, always have been, always will be. I'm 5'6", size 16, and I've learned to love every inch of myself. My curves don't define me, but apparently, to Adrian's family, they defined everything they thought they needed to know about me. I come from the Castellano family. If you know anything about power in this city, you know that name. My brother Dante runs a business empire that makes grown men nervous. He's legitimate, mostly, but his reputation... Let's just say people don't say no to him. I chose to step away from that world. I wanted normalcy. I wanted love. I wanted to be valued for who I am, not whose sister I am. So when I met Adrian at a charity fundraiser, I didn't tell him about my family's wealth or influence. I told him I was a consultant, which was technically true. I ran my own investment company under a different name, but I kept it quiet. Adrian knew I was independent and successful, but he had no idea about the billions, no idea about the power, and definitely no idea that his precious family was about to make the biggest mistake of their pathetic lives. Adrian's family was old money, the kind of people who measure worth by dress sizes and bank account ages. Patricia, my mother-in-law, was obsessed with appearances. Every family dinner became a commentary on what I ate. Kenneth, my father-in-law, could barely look at me without disgust in his eyes. My sister-in-law, Vanessa, a size 2 with an ego the size of Texas, made it her personal mission to remind me that I didn't belong. For 18 months, I endured it. The diet books wrapped as birthday gifts, the gym memberships for Christmas, the comments at every meal. "Maybe just a salad tonight, dear," Patricia would say with that fake, concerned smile. Kenneth refused to take family photos with me in them. Vanessa posted old pictures of Adrian with thin women, captioned, "Before he settled." Gerald, my brother-in-law, called me the whale when he thought I couldn't hear. But I stayed patient. I thought love would change them. I thought if I just kept being kind, kept being myself, they'd eventually see my heart instead of my body. Adrian would weakly defend me, but he never truly stood up to them. He'd say they mean well or give them time. I gave them time. 18 months of time. And they repaid my patience with the cruelest night of my life. 3 weeks ago, Patricia announced she was hosting the Crystal Rose Gala at their lakeside mansion. It was the social event of the season. 300 guests, politicians, celebrities, old money families, black tie, champagne, the works. When my invitation arrived, Patricia had added a handwritten note. "Try to find something flattering. Maybe black is slimming, though I doubt anything will help at this point." I showed it to Adrian. He kissed my forehead and said I was beautiful. But he didn't confront his mother. He never did. I decided to go anyway. I had a gorgeous silver dress custom-made for my curves. I did my hair and makeup professionally. I looked stunning, even if I have to say so myself, but I kept my usual low profile, took an Uber instead of one of my cars, wore minimal jewelry, played the humble daughter-in-law. That was my last act of humility toward them. I arrived at the mansion gates around 8. Security stopped me immediately, saying I wasn't on the list. I showed them my invitation, confused. They called Patricia. I watched her walk down the grand driveway in her designer gown, surrounded by guests in glittering attire. When she reached the gate, she looked me up and down with pure disgust. "I'm sorry," she said loudly enough for nearby guests to hear. "This event is for distinguished guests only. We have weight limits on our antique furniture." People gasped. Some giggled. I felt my face flush. "Patricia," I said, keeping my voice steady. "It's me. Gianna, your daughter-in-law." She tilted her head, pretending to think. "I don't know who you are. My son would never marry someone so large. You must be confused." She turned to security. "She's probably here for the catering job." "Wrong entrance, dear. Kitchen is in the back." The laughter around us grew louder. I pulled out my phone to call Adrian. But before I could dial, Vanessa appeared with a group of thin, wealthy women, all of them size 0, all of them in tight designer dresses that screamed money. They circled me like sharks. "Oh my God!" Vanessa shrieked. "Is this that fat woman Adrian married?" The pictures didn't do her justice. She's huge in person. Her friends erupted in laughter. Phones came out. They were filming me. "How does she even fit through normal doors?" one asked. "Look at that dress straining at the seams," another said. "One deep breath and it's over." "Did she eat the real wife?" a third one added. They all laughed like it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. I stood there, trying to maintain dignity, but tears were forming in my eyes. "Vanessa, please," I said quietly. "I just want to see Adrian." "My brother isn't here," she said with a cruel smile. "He's on a business trip." "We made sure of that. He's probably embarrassed to be seen with you anyway." She raised her voice to the growing crowd. "Can you imagine introducing this to your friends?" Poor Adrian. Then Kenneth arrived with Gerald and several business associates. They looked at me like I was something disgusting they'd stepped in. Gerald whispered to them. I heard every word. The beached whale actually showed up. They all laughed. Kenneth stepped forward, his face cold. "Miss, you need to leave. You're making our guests uncomfortable. Your presence is quite overwhelming." "Kenneth," I tried again, "I'm your son's wife." "My son would never marry someone like you," he interrupted, his voice dripping with contempt. "Someone so obviously lacking in self-control and discipline." His associates joined in. "These gold diggers are getting bold." "And wide," one said. "She probably smelled the food from miles away," another added. Kenneth turned to security. "Escort this woman out, and check the structural integrity of the floor where she was standing." The crowd around us had grown to about 50 people now, all of them filming, all of them laughing. I could hear the cruel comments, the pig noises, the whale sounds. This wasn't just rejection, this was orchestrated humiliation. That's when she appeared, Claudia, Patricia's goddaughter, a stunning blonde in a white designer gown, size 0, the woman Patricia had wanted Adrian to marry. She walked up to me with a champagne bucket in her hands, ice water sloshing inside. "Still here, fat pig?" she said, looking me up and down with pure hatred. "Nobody wants you here. You're ruining the aesthetic of our beautiful event." She turned to the crowd, playing to them like an actress. Seriously, how many people did she eat to get this big? The laughter was deafening now. More phones, more videos, more cruelty. "You need to stop this," I said, my voice shaking. "You're making a mistake." "The only mistake," Claudia hissed, "is you thinking your fat ass belongs in our world. Did you really think putting on a dress would hide all that blubber?" Patricia, Kenneth, Vanessa, Gerald, they all gathered around now with dozens of guests. They were chanting, actually chanting. "Fat, fat, fat," like I was some kind of circus attraction. Someone yelled, "Don't let her near the buffet," and then Claudia raised the bucket. "Let me help you cool down, whale," she screamed. "Maybe this ice water will freeze off some of that fat. Or at least wash away your delusion that you belong here." She dumped the entire bucket on my head. Ice water, freezing cold. It hit me like a physical blow. The ice cubes tangled in my hair, water soaked through my beautiful dress. My makeup ran down my face. I stood there, shivering, completely shocked. The crowd erupted. They were chanting, laughing, filming. Patricia announced loudly, "Now waddle away before we call the real police." "And maybe try a salad," Kenneth added. "Someone hose down the driveway after she leaves." Security grabbed my arms. Rough, painful. Vanessa got right in my face with her phone. This is what happens when you don't know your place, fatty. They dragged me through the mansion. The guests parted like I was diseased. People were holding their noses, making pig noises. Someone threw a salad at my back. I felt it hit me, felt the dressing drip down my ruined dress. They threw me out the main gates. I actually fell, hit the ground hard, tore my dress, scraped my knee, blood mixed with the ice water. The gates slammed shut behind me. From inside, I heard Patricia's voice, amplified by a microphone. Crisis averted. The elephant has left the building. The roar of laughter that followed was the last thing I heard before the gates completely closed. I sat there on the curb outside those massive gates, soaking wet, bleeding, shivering, makeup ruining my face. I'd never felt so small in my life, so worthless, so utterly destroyed. I tried calling Adrian. No answer. Again, no answer. They'd blocked him somehow. I was alone. What I didn't know was that someone had witnessed everything. A young valet worker who parked cars for the event. His sister worked at one of my companies. I'd helped his family once when they were struggling. He recognized me, and he was disgusted by what he'd seen. He pulled out his phone and sent the entire video, 15 minutes of footage, directly to my brother's security team. 50 miles away, Dante was in a meeting with international partners. His head of security interrupted, something he would never do unless it was an absolute emergency. He showed Dante the video. I later learned what happened in that moment. Dante watched the whole thing. Watched them call me whale, cow, pig, disgusting. Watched the ice water dump. Watched his baby sister get dragged out and thrown to the ground like garbage. Watched me bleeding and crying alone. The glass in his hand shattered. He crushed it without even noticing. Get everyone, he said, his voice like ice. Every single person, full tactical team, now. His partners had never seen him like that. One of them told me later that Dante looked like death itself. Someone, Dante said quietly, just made the worst mistake of their pathetic lives. I was still sitting on that curb when I heard it. A rumbling sound in the distance. The ground actually started vibrating. Then I saw the headlights. Not one car. Not two. 20 black SUVs and 2 armored vehicles. A full convoy. They surrounded the entire mansion property. The music inside stopped. I could see guests rushing to the windows. The vehicles stopped and the doors opened simultaneously. 50 men in black suits emerged. Dante's security team, all of them armed. And then Dante stepped out of the center vehicle. My brother. 6'3", expensive Italian suit, a presence that commands both respect and fear. He walked straight to me, and his face when he saw me, I'd never seen him look like that. Pure fury barely contained. He knelt down, took off his jacket, and wrapped it around my shivering shoulders. He gently wiped the mascara from my face. Gianna, he said softly, his voice breaking. Baby sister, who did this to you? I started sobbing. I'm sorry, Dante. I didn't want to bother you. You're my sister, he said, pulling me close. My blood. You never apologize for their cruelty. He looked at my torn dress, my bleeding knee, my wet hair. Tell me every single person who touched you, every person who said something, every person who laughed. All of them, I whispered. Adrian's whole family. And everyone at the party. Dante stood up, his jaw clenched, and turned toward the mansion. Then they all pay, he said. His team didn't knock on the mansion doors. They broke them down. The massive wooden doors crashed open with a boom that echoed across the property. Dante walked in with his security team flanking him, and I followed, still wrapped in his jacket. The party had gone completely silent. 300 guests frozen in fear. Everyone in that room knew who Dante Castellano was. Everyone knew what he was capable of. Patricia tried to approach, tried to maintain her composure. Excuse me, this is a private event. She stopped mid-sentence when she recognized him. Her face went white, her hand clutched her chest. Mr. Castellano, she stammered. We weren't expecting... Kenneth rushed over, sweating. Mr. Castellano, there must be some misunderstanding. Dante's voice cut through the room like a blade. Show me the video. His tech expert was already working, and within seconds, he'd hacked into the mansion's projection system. The video started playing on every screen in the house, crystal clear, perfect audio. For 15 minutes, 300 people watched what they'd done to me. Patricia's fat-shaming at the entrance, Vanessa and her friends calling me huge, making pig noises, Kenneth's cruel jokes about structural integrity, Gerald's beached whale comment, Claudia dumping the ice water and screaming, "Lose some weight, you disgusting cow," the chanting, "Fat, fat, fat," them throwing me out, making animal noises, Patricia's "elephant has left the building" announcement, and finally me sitting outside, alone, bleeding, destroyed. The room was completely silent now except for the video audio. Some people were crying. Patricia actually fainted and collapsed on the floor. Kenneth was shaking so badly he could barely stand. Vanessa vomited from fear. When the video ended, Dante turned to address the room. "Let me educate you worthless pieces of trash about who you just destroyed," he said, his voice booming through the mansion. He projected new slides on the screens. My real photo appeared. This woman you called fat, disgusting, a whale, a cow, a pig. Her name is Gianna Maria Castellano, my baby sister, my blood. The room gasped collectively. She's also the smartest person in this room. MIT graduate, built a billion-dollar empire by age 26. New slides appeared showing my business holdings. The bank that financed Kenneth's law firm, mine. The fashion brands Vanessa worshipped, mine. The hotel chain Gerald worked for, mine. Patricia's charity organizations, I was the major shareholder. The mortgage on this very mansion, held by my bank. This fat cow you humiliated? Dante continued. She's worth $3.2 billion. She could buy all of you. Your homes, your companies, your pathetic lives. The silence was deafening. She chose to live humbly, Dante said. She chose to give your family a chance. She chose love over power, and you repaid her kindness with the most disgusting display of cruelty I've ever witnessed. Patricia had regained consciousness and was sobbing on the floor. Kenneth had literally wet himself. Vanessa was hyperventilating. Claudia was crying, her perfect makeup destroyed. You judged her by her body, Dante said coldly. Let me judge you by your actions. What happened next was systematic destruction. Patricia first. Dante showed her social media posts mocking my weight, text messages to Adrian telling him to divorce me. Your charity board position? Terminated. I'm the largest donor. Your country club membership? Revoked. I own the club. This video goes viral tonight. The whole world will see what you did. Your reputation? Buried. Forever. Kenneth next. Dante revealed 5 years of embezzlement, a secret mistress, a second family. Showed the proof on screen while Patricia screamed. Your law license? Suspended. Your firm? Bankrupt by Wednesday. Your freedom? Enjoy tonight. Jail awaits. Vanessa was sobbing. I was just joking. We're sisters. But Dante showed her Instagram. 28 posts over 18 months, all mocking my weight. Your job? Gone. I own that company. Your husband's job? Gone. I just bought his company. Your prenup has an infidelity clause. I have proof of your affairs. You're divorced, broke, and blacklisted. Gerald tried to act tough until Dante called in his mansion loan, $2.8 million due in 30 days. Impossible to pay? Then you lose everything. Then came Claudia, still arrogant despite everything. My father will sue you, she started. Dante smiled coldly. Your father owes me $50 million. I'm calling the debt tonight. Your trust fund? Frozen. Your credit cards? Canceled. Your penthouse? Foreclosed. I stepped forward. Someone handed me a champagne bucket filled with ice water. Claudia's eyes widened in horror. You said this would wash away fat, I said calmly. Let's see what it washes away from you. I dumped it on her head. The crowd gasped. Claudia stood there soaking, mascara running, white dress ruined. Now you know how it feels, I whispered, except I'm beautiful at any size. You're ugly where it counts. That's when Adrian finally arrived. Dante's people had brought him from the hotel room where his family had locked him, taken his phone, lied about a business trip. He burst through the doors and saw his family on their knees, saw me in Dante's jacket still wet. Vanessa tried to use him. "Adrian! Your wife's psycho brother is threatening us. Control your fat wife." I watched Adrian's face change. Pure rage. "What did you just call her?" They tried to explain. Patricia actually said, "We were trying to help her, son. She needs to lose weight." "Shut up!" Adrian roared. "Just shut up!" He watched the video, all 15 minutes. I saw his heart break, saw the tears stream down his face. He rushed to me, fell to his knees. "Gianna, my God, I'm so sorry. I should have been here. I should have protected you." Patricia tried one more time. "Adrian, you need to choose, your family or that fat—" Adrian stood up, faced his mother. "Don't you dare finish that sentence. She is perfect. Her body is perfect. Her heart is perfect. And you're monsters." He took off his family ring and threw it at Kenneth's feet. "I choose my wife. You people are not my family anymore. You're strangers, cruel, heartless strangers." He held me while his birth family screamed at him. But Dante wasn't finished. He turned to the 300 guests who had watched, filmed, and laughed. His team had identified every single person through facial recognition. "Every person who filmed, laughed, or did nothing," Dante said, showing their names and companies on screen. "I know where you work, where you live, your secrets." He listed several scandals: tax evasion, affairs, fraud. "Delete every video in 1 hour. Donate $1 million each to anti-bullying charities. Or I release your dirty secrets. You'll be blacklisted from every establishment I control, which is most of them." The guests scrambled for their phones, crying, agreeing to everything. Dante gave his final verdict. "This video goes viral. 100 million people will see what you did. Your faces, your voices, your cruelty. Everyone will know." Patricia sobbed. "Please, we're family." "Family?" Dante said. "You had your chance when my sister arrived tonight. You chose cruelty. Now face the consequences." I finally found my voice, strong despite everything. I came here hoping to be accepted, to be loved, to be family. You showed me that my body was all you could see. Now the world will see that your ugliness runs much deeper than skin. That was 3 months ago. Kenneth is in prison serving 5 years for embezzlement. Patricia is a complete social pariah, living in a small apartment, no friends, aged 15 years from the stress. Vanessa works retail now, ironically at a plus-size clothing store, divorced, struggling to pay rent. Gerald declared bankruptcy, lost his mansion, drives for a rideshare app. Claudia works at a fast food restaurant, living with roommates, her father also in prison. The video has 100 million views now. They're internationally known as the body-shaming monsters. They can't go anywhere without being recognized and confronted. They tried to apologize, dozens of times. Too late, too hollow. Adrian and I renewed our vows last month in a beautiful ceremony with real friends and my actual family. I wore a gorgeous gown that celebrated my curves. Adrian's vows made me cry. "I love every inch of you. Your body is perfect because it's yours. I'm sorry I didn't fight harder. I'll spend my life making it up to you." We're expecting our first child now. We live in a mansion 3 times bigger than his parents' old one. I've become an advocate for body positivity, speaking at events, sharing my story. My experience inspired millions. 6 months after the gala, Patricia showed up at my office. Security called and I approved the meeting out of curiosity. She'd aged dramatically, gray hair, worn clothes, broken spirit. She'd lost 40 pounds from stress. The irony wasn't lost on me. "Gianna," she said, crying genuine tears, "I know you'll never forgive me. But I need you to know. I'm dying. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4, maybe 4 months left." I stayed silent. I wasted my entire life caring about appearances, about weight, about what people thought. You were perfect, beautiful. kind, successful, everything I should have celebrated. Instead, I was blind, cruel, evil. She sobbed. I deserve all of it, but please. Can Adrian visit me? Just once? I thought about it for a long moment. I don't forgive you. I may never forgive you, but I don't hate you either. What you did was unforgivable, but you're dying, and that's punishment enough. I'll tell Adrian about your condition. What he chooses is his decision, not mine, not yours. You're more gracious than I ever was, she whispered. I'm so sorry. She died 3 months after that visit. Adrian went to see her once. She died knowing she'd destroyed her own family. People ask me if I forgave them. The truth? Eventually, yes. Forgiveness is for me, not them. Did I let them back into my life? Absolutely not. Some bridges once burned can never be rebuilt. My weight was never the problem. Their hearts were. I'm still curvy, still plus size, still beautiful, still powerful. My body didn't define my worth then, and it doesn't now. I'm a billionaire, a mother soon, a wife, a survivor. Today, I'm at my own charity gala, wearing a stunning red gown, celebrating body diversity and self-worth. I'm speaking to thousands about accepting yourself, about knowing your value isn't measured by a scale or determined by cruel people's opinions. Adrian is beside me. Dante is the proud soon-to-be uncle, and I'm living my best life, unapologetically. They tried to make me feel small by pointing at my size. Instead, I showed them what true size looks like, the size of my empire, my heart, and yes, my revenge. I'm Gianna Castellano. I'm curvy, I'm powerful, and I never, ever forget. That's how a night of fat shaming turned into a lifetime of regret, for them. They judged me by my weight and learned the hardest lesson of their lives. If this story touched you, smash that like button right now. Subscribe for more stories where the underestimated shock the world. Comment below, do you think I went too far, or did they deserve every bit of that karma? Have you ever been judged for your appearance? Share your story. This is a safe space. And remember, your size doesn't define you. Your character does. Your heart does. Your strength does. Treat everyone with respect because you never know who you're really dealing with. See you in the next story, where the underestimated always come out on top.